friends. Welcome to Story Behind Podcast. This is the show for people who love hearing a good story and who believe the world could use more positivity. We're the team behind GodUpdates and GodTube, and we hope these weekly short stories will brighten your day.
Sisters who were adopted by separate families nearly 40 years ago reunite after DNA tests. Written by Heather Riggleman, read by Julie Provost. Sisters who were adopted by separate families nearly 40 years ago reunite after DNA tests bring them together. God's ways are truly miraculous, especially in how He weaves families together. Even when miles and years separate us, His hand is at work, finding ways to bring loved ones back into each other's lives. That was the case for Dara and her sister Jiwon. The sisters were born 18 months apart. Dara found a family in America, while Jiwon was adopted by a family in Belgium. While they loved their adoptive families, questions about their heritage and where they came from began to stir in their hearts in their teen years. We both knew we were adopted at a young age, but it wasn't until later around puberty that we started to wonder about it, Jiwon said. So in 2018, Dara took a DNA test that didn't amount to much. But in 2019, Jiwon decided to take the very same test. Little did she know the test would lead her to her sister Dara. I opened my inbox one morning, and there it was. "Hey, I think we're sisters," Dara said. The sisters met each other in Seoul, and the connection was instant the second they saw each other. Connecting with each other has answered a lot of questions for us. It's given us a sense of who we're connected with, and has shown us both the similarities from our shared nature and the differences shaped by your unique environments. Nurture, they say. Either way, it's been incredible to get to know each other. Whether it's through DNA tests, a chance meeting, or the kindness of strangers, He brings people together, revealing that love knows no bounds. These stories remind us that family is not just about proximity, but about connection, loyalty, and the shared bond that God blesses us with. Even if it takes years or miles to discover, His love brings us home to each other, no matter where we are. Psalm 68:6. God sets the lonely in families. He leads out the prisoners with singing. These two newlyweds found love in their late 90s after meeting at their retirement home. Written by Heather Riggleman, read by Julie Provost. These two newlyweds found love in their late 90s after meeting at a retirement home. Most people tend to think love is for the young, but Bernard Schneider and Joe Cartwright prove love isn't bound by age. It's about connection, understanding, and sharing your life with someone. Bernard and Joe's story beautifully illustrates love doesn't have an expiration date. Love can blossom at any stage of life, and sometimes it blooms even more deeply after a lifetime of experiences. At 98 and 96, the two widowed seniors got married on November 1st, 2024 in Austin, Texas. It was the perfect day for a beautiful wedding. Joe caught Bernard's attention at the nursing home and took an interest in her. Their connection grew as they spent time together, going for walks and having dinner together. "I had to find out who she was," Bernard said about the first time he saw her. "Wherever I was, he was there," she told the outlet. "I would look up and he was right there. And I thought, well, maybe this man, maybe he likes me a little bit," she said. It didn't take long before Joe realized she had fallen in love. She knew he was her second chance at love. "It didn't even occur to me that I would meet anybody, or even want to. But I guess I fell in love with him after a few months," she said. Bernard had a few doubts at first, too. He didn't think he could possibly fall in love again after having been married for over 73 years before his wife had passed away. But then Joe came into his place at the perfect time. She was a breath of fresh air, and he called her his little butterfly. He even had butterflies released at the wedding as a symbol of what Joe is to him in his life. They may be in their 90s, but they are hoping to make a lifetime worth of memories, even if they only get as many as 5 years together. "When it comes to love," Joe said, "the basic crux of the whole story is that you can love again. It's wonderful to know that you can. We wish that couple many happy years before the Lord calls them home." Song of Solomon 8:6-7. "Place me like a seal over your heart, like a seal on your arm. For love is as strong as death, its jealousy unyielding as the grave. It burns like blazing fire, like a mighty flame."
Thank you so much for listening to Story Behind Podcast. We're really glad you joined us for this week's story. To see photos and videos that may have been referenced in this episode, check out the links in the show notes. And if you enjoyed what you heard today, subscribe to our podcast, and please tell a friend about us. We'd also love it if you'd rate us and leave us a review. It really does help more people find us. Story Behind is a Salem Web Network production.